Hello everyone, Testtubegamer back again, and today I would like to discuss Battlerite and why I think it's failing. So for anyone not familiar, Battlerite is the spiritual successor to Bloodline Champions, an online battle arena game centered around top-down combat. The game sported a hefty roster of champions that varied from typical melee characters to ranged and healing classes. The control scheme allows for direct control of your character, making any good or bad play the direct fault of the person in charge. In Battlerite, everything is a skill shot, and it is up to the player to learn all of the heroes and what they do to be effective in 2v2 and 3v3 matches. Out of the 21 total heroes, 6 were added after the initial early access launch. One of the problems with the additional characters is they borrow from kits in the already small roster of playable heroes. Reusing skill sets wasn't necessarily a bad thing, since the kit of each character still allowed them to have unique playstyles, but coupled with the incredible low rate of releases, the game meta became very stagnant in such a short amount of time. If you look at the success of other titles like League of Legends, they maintain release schedules of a new champion roughly every 2 weeks, never allowing the community time to catch up or figure the game out. After the roster reached a healthy number of playable characters and the community had exploded, they began to rework old champions that were left in the dust due to power creep. Power creep is when an old champion becomes obsolete due to new and improved mechanics being added into the game. In League of Legends, there are 5 lanes that need to be filled in any given match. Top is usually dedicated to a fighter tank character. Mid is typically a mage character or an assassin due to the short lane. Bottom lane often sees the range carry coupled with a tanky support champion to protect them during the time period they are weakest in a match. Jungle, my favorite role, is often filled with mobile self-sustaining characters that roams around the map securing objectives and looking for easy kills. Battlerite's downfall is that they centered the game around 2v2, where there are only 2 options available. 1 DPS and 1 healer, or 2 DPS. You can argue that some characters dabble in tankiness or are both DPS and healing, but when you get right down to it, the nature of the game is more checkers instead of chess. Why do I bring this up? Well, it's easy to tell which game has more variety in any given match, but when you spell it out like this, you see that League has 5 roles and a significantly higher number of characters available to each role. For Battlerite, at the highest level of competition, players have found what compositions works the best for them and stuck with it with devastating results. The current rank 1 team has gone unanswered for months with very few losses overall. This is not unlike what we see in League of Legends with Korean teams, but the meta still shifts drastically between each season. No one character stays at the top of the tier list for very long. In Battlerite, the tier lists remain largely unaltered for months and months at a time. I am not a professional and these are only opinions, but at the top of the Battlerite tier list you see the same 3 characters in every composition: Shifu, Taya, and Ashka. League of Legends can get away with things like Flavors of the Month because it still sports a roster of over 100 characters. People need to invest insane amounts of time to perfect a champion in order to climb to rank 1. In Battlerite you can learn pretty much everything a character has to offer in a much shorter amount of time. In Battlerite, the rank climb has also been dumbed down so hard that people of any skill level can reach gold or platinum, and arguably diamond and maybe even champion. This is a double whammy to players since they have little or no reason to continue playing once they've reached a certain goal. Players that do stay then tend to chase away new players that attempt to try the game out due to incredibly low populations. Since early access, Battlerite has seen 6 new characters. An excuse often given is the studio is a very small group. However, that isn't completely unlike what we saw with Riot Games. Instead of taking holidays, letting the gaming scene forget about their title, Riot doubled down and created an esports league the likes the world had never seen before. Many games since have attempted to jump into esports without doing the legwork needed to make their title a household name. The goal for these companies should always be how big can we get, but ignoring stepping stones like new character lineups on a somewhat healthy release schedule is unacceptable. Even simple additions like friends list integration or attempting to build your community from the inside out by encouraging content creators to share what they love about your game. You only get to make a first impression once, and Battlerite seems to have lost much of its initial oomph by pressing its free-to-play model so far back. The market for online multiplayer games is not a deserted wasteland, and new titles like Gigantic have already started to make a foothold in gamers' hearts that will make it very difficult for Battlerite to reclaim them. I'm not sure what SLS has in store for us, and I will say that I already feel like I've gotten my $20 worth out of the game, but to see a game with such incredible potential die is something I'm already familiar with, and it never gets any easier. What would you like to see in the coming months from SLS? Tell me what you think in the comments below. That's it from me. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and I hope to see you in the next one.
Another victory.